This is Robert Ho, and his journey began long before he ever imagined starting an HVAC company. It started when he was 5 years old, growing up inside his family's restaurants in Albany, Georgia. Surrounded by the smell of stir-fry, the sound of clinking dishes, and a constant flow of customers, Robert watched his parents manage people, handle money, solve problems, and build a family brand through their restaurants. Sunset Grill, China Cafe, House of China, and Hibachi Express. Even as a child, he was curious. He wanted to understand how things worked and loved fixing what was broken. That passion eventually led him to major in bioengineering in college. His plan was simple: graduate and pursue a career in engineering. But after finishing school, his parents asked him to help with the family restaurants. Just for a little while. A few months turned into a year, then 5, and eventually 17. He found himself running and managing all of the family's restaurants. But deep down, he still wanted to build something of his own. During those years, Robert wasn't just working, he was connecting. He made it a point to talk to everyone who walked through the door. He always believed that every person had knowledge, value, or insight to offer. That belief was cemented when, at 22 years old, he wanted to build his first house. He was only making $400 a week, but he was determined. After buying land and securing a construction loan through a banker friend, he searched for a permanent loan. 20 banks turned him down. He was just about out of options when he walked into one last bank. The banker, Dolly Flowers, recognized his family name, believed in him, and secured the $120,000 loan a week later. That moment changed the way Robert viewed relationships forever. As he puts it, one day you're going to need help, and you're going to have to call somebody. It's better to call a friend than a non-friend. That mindset of building genuine relationships eventually led him to the person who would help launch his biggest business venture. Robert met Tim Smith the same way he met many others, through conversation at Sunset Grill. Tim replaced air conditioners for a living, and Robert could tell he was a technical genius. Robert saw potential in the HVAC industry and pitched the idea of starting a business together. Tim repeatedly said no, but Robert didn't give up. He brought it up for 8 years until Tim finally said yes. To complete the founding team, Robert brought in someone he had mentored since the age of 16, David Cravey. David started out as a shy server in the restaurant and eventually grew into someone Robert trusted with business operations. With Tim's technical expertise, David's financial and organizational skills, and Robert's leadership and funding, they officially created DYES Heating and Cooling in 2017. In the beginning, the 3 founders worked constantly. They weren't just managers. They were the employees doing the work. It meant long days, late nights, weekends, and little separation between work and personal life. Robert made a bold choice early on to self-fund the entire venture. It meant draining his savings and taking on all the risk himself, but it allowed him full control of the company's foundation and growth. Slowly, the business expanded. Dyes earned its reputation the honest way. Robert refused to upsell or overcharge customers, even if it meant slower profits. In an industry where people often fear being taken advantage of, that honesty helped DYES stand apart. Customers noticed, trusted them, and spread the word. As the company grew, new challenges emerged. Hiring technicians was one of the hardest. It takes years to train a great HVAC employee, and once someone becomes skilled, competitors often try to lure them away. Robert couldn't force employees to stay. He never locked them in with contracts. Instead, he built loyalty by creating a workplace where people felt valued and saw growth opportunities. DYES looked for people who wanted more than a 9-to-5 job. They wanted people who wanted to build a future. Rapid growth brought more pressure and responsibility. Weekly meetings became essential to keep the company aligned. The founders constantly asked themselves, what's working? What needs improvement? Do we need to change direction? They learned to adapt quickly, say no when necessary, and handle mistakes without losing client trust. Robert divided the ownership of the company into 3 equal shares. Despite being the sole person who funded it, he valued fairness, loyalty, and partnership more than holding majority control. As the business continued to grow all across Georgia, that strong foundation allowed the team to stay united. Over time, the early struggles became the reason DYES Heating and Cooling is so strong today. Difficult customers taught them patience. Losing employees taught them how to build culture and loyalty. Rapid expansion taught them how to lead under pressure. Every challenge shaped the business into what it is now. He built DYES, heating and cooling, on the belief that people are the most valuable resource of all. You can never do it alone, Robert says. You have to have the resources. And people are the greatest resource there is.